This show is powered by BL3P, the Lightning-enabled European Bitcoin exchange.
Connetti il mondo.
I'm Dmitry, lm2me.com, Switzerland.
In the future, everyone will have one Lightning channel for life.
Yes.
Forrest Gump is a classic American comedy drama film from 1994. Although the film was a huge success, Paramount said the film was a flop and the film company Groom did not pay its share. Did you know Groom therefore refused to allow this sequel to the book Come and Go to be made into a movie?
No.
The LN2Me node is the #1 node in the PlebNet community.
Yes.
Sushi is my favorite food.
Yes.
Caesar Augustus, also known as Octavian, was the first Roman emperor. His status as the founder of the Roman Principate has consolidated a legacy as one of the greatest leaders in human history. There's a lot of similarities between Caesar Augustus and Frodo Baggins from Lord of the Rings, but do you think Caesar Augustus would have been able to resist the ring?
No.
Eliezer Shlomo Yudkowsky is an American decision and artificial intelligence theorist and writer, best known for popularizing the idea of friendly artificial intelligence. Were you amused reading his fan fiction book Harry Potter and the Methods of Rationality?
Yes.
Mesmerize is the 4th studio album by American metal band System of a Down. Do you know the debut single is called BYOB, Bring Your Own Bombs?
Yes.
I like to drink IPAs in the summer and red wine during the winter.
Yes.
The time I spent on Ethereum is the best time of my life.
No.
Are you Satoshi Nakamoto?
No.
Welcome to the Connected World Weekly Podcast. I'm Edward.
And I'm Stef. We are ready to take you with us into the beautiful world of the Lightning Network.
Enjoy the ride. This is episode 44 of Connected World. Stef, great to see you, man.
Good to see you, Edward.
Yeah, there we are again.
There we are again, man. How are you doing?
I'm alive. Well, yeah,
I hope so.
I needed some days to recover because we had a wedding till very late, 2 o'clock with backups and all the things that we needed to do. And then we had a lot of people that were coming in, a lot of things that we needed to do. And we had a fair yesterday.
Mm-hmm.
And so it was standing 3 days long. I'm just, exhausted, but this was a good day because I had a lot of things to do and we're doing all those things and I can sit here with you.
And we have great fun.
Drink my my beer, I wanted to say, but that's not true.
You're not a drinker, right?
Yeah, but I like the non-alcohol beer. So, I used to drink the, at Canon.
Yeah.
The 11% beer.
Sure.
That was great. You only needed one to have a good, nice day.
To have a nice sleep.
Yeah.
Oh, nice, man.
And you, Stef, what did you do?
Today, I worked for the podcast, of course, and in this weekend, I had some problems I needed to fix at my at my company because I needed to do some stuff and drilling a hole in the ground for the.
I saw the pictures.
Yeah, man, it was crazy, and I smashed. I think it was 4 water pipes. How do you say it in English? By the way, water pipes or something. Yeah. So I needed to fix that. So it was a different weekend than I was expecting. And yesterday I was on the football pitch again. I stopped with football, but my former team. They needed an extra man, so I volunteered to help them out. So we won 2-0, so that was nice. So it was also a busy weekend, but all good stuff.
Great.
So yeah.
And there were some things that we also did. We worked on the Connect the World nodes. Yeah, because we needed some extra liquidity. For our NFC cards.
Is it routing what I see, or just experiments with the NFC cards that we do?
The small amounts are the experimenting things. And you're right.
But also routing, right?
Some routing, yeah. Because there was a problem with, we are aiming for channels with ClearNet nodes or hybrid nodes. Tor nodes is of course also good, but there are some difficulties with some Tor nodes. So we definitely need a good connection to great nodes. And we also used our sponsor, Blab, has a way to buy Lightning, of course, Lightning directly.
Yeah.
And we used it also to add liquidity. On our liquidity.
So we have to thank Bitonic and Blab.
Of course.
For
the animator that made the visual at the beginning of the podcast is I've met him at when Bitonic was 10 year. They had an anniversary party and it was really great. You were in Spain then.
Yeah, unfortunately.
And I met Brutesque. He's a really nice guy. He would definitely want to meet you one time. And he made it for us, especially for us.
So cool. So Brutesque, if you are listening, please join our meetup, and then we can have a beer and talk about it.
I can look it up because
you sent him the invitation link. Or?
I sent him the invite afterwards, and he said, "I'm looking forward to the meetup." So he's coming.
Cool. Oh, great! Oh, I will meet him then. Yeah, because I'm so hyped at what we obviously organize a meetup at the 12th and 13th of October after the 2 conference days. At 5-minute walk from the conference, from the Westergasfabriek at Braai, a very nice South African barbecue restaurant. And but what did we do? We got in contact with all our previous guests, and we invited them to join the meetup. And
I think that's great.
Yeah, we have so much guys that are really enthusiastic to join that. So we now confirmed Ben Ark. He is coming to our meetup. So how nice! I mean, he also bringing one of his artifacts, like I like to call them. So he is going to bring some point of sale stuff or the thing he is building with LMBit. So great to play with it or just to see it work in real life. And then that
makes it Lightning at its best, right?
Yeah, man. And but because we already that was the thing he asked. I think it was Ben, or it was no, I think it was Ben that he asked. I'm thinking of coming, but what's important for me that can I pay with Satoshis? And then we thought that you orange built the venue, so that's great. So Jose Lemus from Breeze from
Ibex
Mercado is joining. So that's also great to have a talk with, and Patrick van der Meijden from Bitkassa, who is providing the payment service that Braai is now going to use.
Roy from Breeze,
from Breeze CEO. So we have such nice people all together.
And the guys from Satsback are also coming.
Yeah, the guys from Satsback also. Yeah. So Leon and Tom Goynatsky. Yeah. So it's great. And Stijn, our own super talented guy. Yeah. So I'm really looking forward to it. So I think. Yeah, when you see the guests who are coming to that meetup, and you are really into the Lightning Network, these are the real big shots. These are the people that you want to talk to. So if you are not attending our meetup yet, please go to meetup.com/connect the world, and you can sign up there. And you can choose which one of the 2 you want to join. I propose you just join both of them because they are both amazing.
You need to eat, right? So come to our meetup and meet ours and your heroes from the Lightning space.
And Ben Ark is also
doing... You don't
need
to be a developer, just come
really. I mean, for everyone, there's someone to talk to. And
that's
I think,
absolutely right.
What better way to end your day? You just saw Ben Ark showing some really cool LMBit stuff at the conference. And then a couple of hours later, you can really talk to him, have a one-on-one with him, just check out his stuff or something. Yeah, I think it's great.
And we will have everything ready. So the food, some great things to do there, and to chill or to see.
Yeah. And maybe it's good to mention, Edward, that the entrance is free, right? So there's no entrance fee.
I saw your dog just passing by.
Oh, hey, Jay. Let me grab
Okay, everybody's gonna rewind now.
But the entrance is free, right? So I think that's also very nice.
So if you don't want to eat or just want to come in and drink something, entrance is free.
Yeah. So, but if you want to have the buffet, the guys from Brei are preparing, is just 19 euros or something like that.
Yeah, 19.95, and then you get how do you say it? Bracelet,
wristband.
Wristbands, and then you can eat everything you want.
Yeah, man.
So that's great.
Yeah, and bring your Lightning wallet, of course, because we want everything be paid in Bitcoin, of course. So the guys at Brei will tell all the neighbors that everyone should accept Bitcoin because it's the most exciting thing you will ever see.
Indeed. And if you don't have a ticket, you can also come to the meetup. If you want a ticket, you can buy it using the promo code CTW podcast. And you can use it to have 10% discount. And this is a special episode because there is a prize, Stef, the end.
Oh yeah, guys. But let's keep it a cliffhanger, okay? Let's keep it a cliffhanger. If you are a node operator and you I'm going to say too much. Okay, if you are a node operator, you should watch until the very end because we are of Dmitry Laptev.
It made me jealous, really.
Our guest Dmitry Laptev, he's the creator of ln2me.com. He is giving away an amazing prize. I think. Yeah,
multiple amazing prizes.
Yeah, multiple prizes. Yeah, so if you're running a node and you just want to upgrade your node, I'm going to say too much. Okay, so just
stay with us.
Yeah, stay with us.
Yeah.
So let's first have a little talk about the statistics of the Lightning Network and about our Rings of Fire community, Edward, and then the second part with the big prizes is after that. Yeah, thank you.
Awesome.
Connetti il mondo.
So last week we had a little over 42.89 Bitcoin pushed into the Lightning Network, and this week we added 34 million sats, 34 million. So we are now at 43.23 with around 1,421 members participating in over 189 rings.
And we're now at block height 755,785 with 17,060 nodes in the Lightning Network with more than 4,800 Bitcoin in the network.
And 1 million Satoshis is getting you $189, 196 euros, and 1,311 Chinese yuan.
Verbinden die Welt.
And then for some highlighted news updates from last week, brought to you by the Daily Moon. Andy Schroeder is a mechanical and aerospace engineer, and he built a GRID, general purpose electric metering. It measures a quantity of electricity and attaches lightning payments to it. And GRID is well suited for industrial applications where a landlord wants to supply electrical energy to his tenants, for example. And I've added the tweet in the show notes, and the tweet shows an image of the two setups. And the top setup is paying the bottom setup for the amount of power being used. And this has a lot of potential, of course, to be scaled up. To work with power companies to pay for energy usage in Bitcoin. Very interesting website also he has. So take a look at the website. SetsBack is expanding to several new countries. That's also some bullish news, including Finland, Denmark, Sweden, and the Czech Republic. And this means an additional 2,750 new online stores became available to use and shop online using SetsBack.
I use it almost every day.
Great. Yeah, me too. And I always search, okay, I want to buy this. Is there a shop?
Yeah, me too.
Lowest price and SetsBack, and I'm
just thinking about it. They just need to have a page where you can just fill in the project you're searching for, and then they tell you if it's available on Setback.
I think we asked it in the episode we did.
Oh, really?
I'm gonna look it up.
Yeah, it would be great.
Yeah, and then LN Swapwell Aleph from Grey Finance has created a service that allows you to easily swap your on-chain sets for Lightning sets. An amazing thing is with this tool is you can host it yourself. The service, you can host it yourself. It's on GitHub. I've added all the links. If you want to try it, then you can look into it. And then with fast login, you can easily securely log in with your supported Lightning wallet or any LN URL auth conformant device. And they're aiming to come up with another solution, so fast login, for even a broader range of use cases. So it's interesting to check them and to keep an eye on them because they're gonna release some new stuff. And then I've added one update. I think it's interesting because LN.Capital recently released Torque version 0.8.4 with support for Raspberry Pis. So if you have a Raspberry Pi, you can install Torque using a single command. And you can check the GitHub, which they released with the update.
So do you want to read more and stay up to date about everything related to Lightning, the news and updates, then head over to tdm.news and follow the Daily Moon on Twitter or Telegram. And Edward will make sure all the links are in the show notes.
Connect the world.
So last week we balanced 3 rings, starting with the 5 million Satoshis 29th ring. And this is a special one because we had 6 participants from 6 different countries. That's what we like, of course, connecting the world. Yeah. And Mr. Bits, Alan, and Threepwood combined fortunes and tried to balance the ring. First, it seemed that Mr. Bits, Alan, would succeed. Build looked fine, but nevertheless, he ran upon some issues. And then Threepwood got home from work and finished the job. So it was like Federer and Nadal in their duo game. Great job, guys. So I already mentioned 6 participants from 6 different countries. It was Italy, Holland, Great Britain, USA, Canada, and Swiss. And then we had the 3 million Satoshis 34th ring. Xarion proved himself to be a real ringleader, prepared everything well, and even made sure everyone was hyped by creating a countdown until the moment of balancing. Everything went very smooth, so Xarion waited no longer and balanced the ring. He had to pay some fees, but we always make sure he get them back. So nice job, mate. And within this ring, there were, I think it were 5 node operators from Holland and 1 from South Africa. So that was, we didn't talk Afrikaans to each other, unfortunately. We kept it on English. And then we had the 3 million Satoshis 23rd ring. So the previous ring. And it was the second 3 million Satoshis ring that we balanced that day. And it was Xarion again who balanced it. So the guys on a real roll. And great preparation again and very smooth work. And within this ring, there were node operators from Germany, Italy, Brazil, and Holland.
Okay, so that's finished again. Thanks, Stef. And let's head over to the Lightning notes.
Let's do it.
世界をつなぐ
Make sure to secure your home network. So change default passwords and use 2-factor authentication where possible. And keep your software up to date. That's also very important. Please keep in mind that the whole Lightning network is very experimental. Software like MyNode, Umbrel, Raspberry Blitz, for example, and many others, and LND also, are still in beta phase. Don't blindly run terminal commands on your node if you don't understand them yourself, and especially when prefixed with sudo. And the last one is also very important. Don't use Satoshis that you're not willing to lose. So if you're not aware of all security considerations, then read into it. Educate yourself, read articles, ask for help in Telegram groups with high reputation like ours, and listen to podcasts and learn by doing. Otherwise, don't participate.
Also, you can stay informed by following us on Twitter. You can find us at Satoshi Radio ROF. And follow our Lightning leader, Jonī Kyasshu. Join our Telegram groups, Satoshi Radio, Ring of Fire, and Connect the World. and check our website, satoshi.radio. It would be nice for you to be part of our Amboss community. You can find us there on Satoshi Radio, and like and subscribe to our YouTube channel. Use Podcasting 2.0 to listen to Connect the World, and you can check SAT trading for the current value. You can find all this information, of course, also in the show notes as well.
All right, let's get on to the show.
Соединим этот мир.
Okay,
I said it wrong, guys.
No, you said it wrong. Okay, Dmitry. Okay, let's explain. Let's explain.
Yeah, okay, explain it.
You said you must say the time I spent on ETH is the best time in my life.
Yeah, but Stef, you thought it all through, and I just see it there and I think ETH. Okay, it's just
it's Ethereum. Oh man, no. Because okay, let us explain. We saw that you studied at ETH or ETH Zurich.
That's nice.
Yeah,
it's a university. It's a university in Zurich. But it has quite a questionable name. So
yeah,
tell us more about it.
Yeah, there is only Vitalik to blame for that because the university was here forever. Yeah, and this imposter Ethereum thingy came up much later.
Okay, so the university was called ETH. Long before Ethereum was created.
Yes.
Okay. and have you ever been thinking, well, maybe I should call the board of this university and maybe change the name to BTC.Zurich or something? Or
yeah.
Make a redirect if Zurich exists.
Yeah. So this is actually an acronym. So ETH is an acronym for Higher School of Higher Technical School.
Okay.
I never actually thought of it as an ETH as a name as a whole, but just a part of the bigger picture, and that is far away from Ethereum. So
I think that is the same why it happened to me. That I see ETH and then, well, I'm just making it better than it was. Oh man!
And I felt, well, Dmitry is such a nice guy. We welcome him into the show, and then the ninth question we ask him is about his work on Ethereum, and he had a very angry face. Edward, what did you do, man?
We made it a trick question, and he was laughing about the other questions, but. Because there was one.
Yeah, and now I'm very curious because we did our homework, obviously, and you go by the nickname of Augustus Baggins, but I was Googling because I also know the Lord of the Rings movies, obviously, and I know Frodo Baggins, but I didn't know Augustus Baggins, so I was Googling, did I miss one character or something, and then I found a very weird meme about Caesar, Augustus, and Frodo Baggins. But are you aware of that meme? Did that?
No, not at all.
You didn't know?
They stole a meme from my name.
Yeah, but it's. But you did you just?
No, just send it to me. That's
interesting. We must put it in the show notes. Send the link to me also.
I will.
Put it
it was on Reddit. It was
link to meme.
It was on Reddit, and they compare Caesar Augustus with Frodo Baggins. They have all the kinds of similarities, and but then someone within the comments says, "Yeah, but do you think that Caesar Augustus would be able to resist a ring?" And I was like,
No, I didn't know.
Nobody
I didn't get this reference. Yeah.
But
essentially, how I chose it is I just took what I thought were like completely different worlds, completely different types of names, and I just concatenated them together. Yes, but I had Caesar Augustus and Frodo Baggins in mind when I did that.
Really? But how long ago was this that you came up with it?
Well, I don't know, 5 years ago maybe.
5 years
okay,
ago.
But then they really got a meme out of your name because the meme is like 1.5 years old or something. So it's interesting.
So you're first and then... Then me.
Okay, in this space,
really...
I don't really want to compete. I'm pretty sure there was always something on Reddit way before everyone else came up with it. So.
Yeah, but I will send it. I will definitely send it after the recording, man. It's very funny. So
and then the question about the LN2 Me Node being the #1 of the Plebnet community. Is that important for you to have a node #1?
Yeah, to be honest, I'm very skeptical of all of the rankings.
Yeah.
So I'm not even sure which one you mean. I assume some terminal one, which is probably a little
or
bit
boss
more,
score, or
And to be honest, I think it's broken in so many different ways. I wouldn't pay a lot of attention to it. So I guess I'm there for legacy reasons, and I'm not sure if I'm there at the moment. I haven't checked in maybe half a year already. So. Yeah,
and I saw you just joined
I was at some point, yeah. So at least in terms of this ranking, I was at some point number one node at Labnet. That's why I answered yes.
And I also remember entering someday on lnrouter.app to have the prediction about the best channels, and then LN to me, it's everywhere. But it's good to be
well connected node.
Yeah, indeed. Yeah, and that's nothing wrong with that.
No, and we saw that you just joined our Rings of Fire community. So because I saw that you were already a member of the original one, but not ours. So I wanted to ask you: do you want to join one, and do you also want to join a Ring of Fire with us? Because that will be very interesting, obviously, because you have such a great connected node.
As you probably know, I implemented a whole procedure for people to open balance channel to me.
Yeah.
So why I did that was actually not because I wanted to avoid Rings of Fires or everything. It's too much work, too much manual work. It became so much better with the development of the communities like yours. It became so much better. So all of the scripts are there, the procedures are there, the community support is there. So it became much, much better. But it was such a pain in the ass.
Yeah, but you're right.
It still can be a big pain of the ass. But I think the upside of our community is the community, that people who are just getting started with their node have all kinds of questions, don't know where to start, don't know how to get inbound liquidity, for instance, and then they join our Telegram group or our community, listen to our podcast, obviously, and then we help them. And I think that's the positive thing about it. But I'm completely with you if you say that it can be a real pain in the ass.
And they'll learn by doing it
anymore. Right. But I really appreciate the work that you guys are putting in.
Yeah, thanks. And are you planning to visit Bitcoin Amsterdam?
No, not at the moment.
Okay.
I have some other plans actually for exact same dates. So no, this year I'll skip.
Okay. Well, then
we'll meet just on another place.
Exactly. Hey, Dmitry, we have all kinds of questions for you about LN2Me service, but also your node, how you manage it, and your vision on the Lightning Network. But it has to be in the 21 minutes. So if you are ready, Dmitry and Edward, of course, we would really like to enter that part. Are you guys ready?
I'm ready.
Ready?
Let's do it.
All right.
Conecta el mundo.
Let's start with the LN2Me service. Since 2018, your LN2Me node routes hundreds of payments per day. And with this node, you provide a service to help Lightning operators with liquidity issues. What are the possibilities that you offer with your LN2Me node?
Yeah, so let me start a little bit with the background. So when I just started, I realized that getting inbound liquidity is going to be one of the problems. And I decided to start a website that would essentially, for every person who fills the form, they would get a channel from me. Because it was very, very big in the beginning, it was a lot of fun. So now it evolved a little bit. So now I'm actually opening balance channels, and not to all nodes, but also only to nodes that are already bootstrapped a little bit. So if you have a channel, 10 channels, for example, then I will look at the average size of the channel, and I will open a balance channel to match this average size of the channel multiplied by 1.5. This way you can get some, I would say, relatively high quality inbound liquidity from one of the bigger nodes, almost for free. I mean, you'll have to open a channel, and it's a trusted setup. So you'll have to push sats to me, and I will return them back when you fill the form, when the channel opens. So for this moment of time, it is a trusted setup. But you can check my reputation and see that it usually always works. If it doesn't, I'm here to help.
And we now have your face on camera, so
yeah.
Yeah. And while incoming liquidity has become more important lately, you notice that more and more liquidity solutions are emerging. User friendliness is very important here, but also the demand for trustless opening dual-funded channels. Are you busy with building a feature like that so that it's more trustless? And why? What are the trade-offs at the moment? Well, you already elaborated a bit about the trust involved.
Yeah. No, that's great. So the more solutions, the better. First of all, I don't want to be the only player in the field. I want this to be as democratized as possible. And yeah, I think that trustless setup. I think Boss implements it the best, probably. Dual funded channels there are the best. And I actually wanted to adopt the same thing, but I already had it implemented and it kind of worked. And when I looked into Boss, the only thing that bothered me a little bit is that the whole workflow will be a little bit more complex. So if I want to automate it on my site, there would be a little bit more possible scenarios where things could get wrong. So I decided for the moment to stick with the simpler one before I managed to figure out a way to actually make it work in a fully automated way. So essentially it's a time constraint. I would love to, but until I have time to actually do that in a proper way, it's pending.
Okay,
of course. And do you think that everything ultimately should be trustless, or are there some other advantages to the need of trust that will eventually play a part in the future of the Lightning Network?
Good question. Everything should be aiming to be trustless or as trustless as possible, but I don't think it should be a hill to die on. So for some types of users, I think onboarding them with a custodial setup or like semi-custodial setup, like nodes managed across relatives or families, I think that's perfectly acceptable and reasonable thing to do, especially in the beginning while we are not there yet to have it absolutely scalable. Yeah.
And is the LN2Me node the first node you've built, and can you tell us more about the history of the node? Did you start right away with this liquidity service you offer?
Yes, I was actually, I was involved with Bitcoin a little bit back and forth, and I wanted to contribute in some way. So I actually didn't start a Lightning node because I was so interested in using Lightning, but because I saw a problem that needs to be solved there, and I wanted to contribute in some way. So and of course I was not the only one. So immediately a lot of solutions popped up. So the Yals and the Thor from Bitterfield, they popped up almost immediately. But mine was cheaper for more enthusiast nodes that didn't get any routing revenue back then. So I think I managed to help a little bit, and I'm proud of that part at least.
Sure. That's the best way to start with the finding the solution yourself, and then thinking, well, everybody else has the same problem, then why don't I just figure something out? And the LN2Me node has around 502 channels I saw, and the oldest is more than 3 years old. And you have multiple channels of 1 Bitcoin and even one with 2 Bitcoin liquidity. How important are those Wumbo channels when running a routing node?
I'm paying a lot of attention to the average channel size, actually more than the maximum channel size, because ultimately, if you have a path through the node, you will be limited by the minimal capacity channel. And at least in my case, most of my channels are in the ballpark of like 5 million sats, maybe even less. So these huge channels, they don't actually add much. They definitely make my node look a little bit more impressive when people are choosing peers. But they don't route much, and they are actually even painful sometimes to manage. So for example, if you use a normal script to balance your channels 50-50, this 2 BTC channel will suck up 1 BTC of my liquidity, and that could be useful in other places, and would be just sitting there for no reason.
Yeah,
so I had to implement some tricks around that because of these big channels.
And what is the sweet spot when you think of the liquidity channel?
You mean the capacity?
Yeah, the capacity
of the channel.
Yeah.
Oh, that's a tough one. You never know, and especially because you need to identify where the flow is. Mm-hmm. So I usually try to recommend people to start somewhere where they feel comfortable. They will be able to have some room for exploration. So, for example, if you're able to open 10 million channels, mm-hmm. that's awesome. I mean, that's a bit of some funding you need to put down, but it's going to be absolutely the great start.
Yeah.
And then just start from there. I mean, wherever you start, you can always scale up the channel. If you see that, for example, every time there is more than half of the liquidity moving back and forth, then of course it probably needs to be more. There are some exceptions where you can estimate in advance that some channel is going to be used actively and for large payments, like Loop, for example. But apart from that, it's basically a game of guessing and trial and error.
Mm-hmm. And you don't use zero base fee, and I've read that it helps you to have less transactions, but more value. But can you explain this?
Because my node has lots of channels and lots of older channels as well. With a lot of people are trying to route through this node. So I actually have a huge problem with database bloating. It used to be much more prevalent. Nowadays, it's a little bit better. So I actually had to implement, even though I would love to set zero base fee, I think it's a great idea. At the moment, I have to limit in multiple different ways. So I set, for example, the limits on the HTLC size to pass through every channel. I set protective fees. And I also decided to keep for the moment 1 SAT base fee, because otherwise a lot of people are probing my node. And when I set it to 0, I did an experiment. It just goes up 5 times. So it's not really sustainable at the moment. Yeah.
Causes the database problem, right? The probing.
Yeah, unfortunately, that's probably one of the bigger challenges for a big node. It's getting better, though. I think the devs realized that there is a problem and they're trying to fix it. So they are at least I'm talking about LND, because that's a B-bolt problem. It's not actually the Lightning problem.
Mm-hmm. And you talked about it earlier just now. For those who want to run a routing node, the most valuable asset is to know where the traffic is, the flow. How do you find this information for your own node?
Yeah. I don't.
It finds you.
No, I mean, that's I benefited from it for quite a while. So especially when the PlebNet was starting, I realized that being up in the rankings, for example, in the terminal ranking, then when it was released, I was one of the top 5 nodes. It actually helps a lot with people trying to open channel to you just to see what happens, because you're one of the bigger nodes. Yeah. So for me, I was in a very privileged position to be one of those nodes where people are actually exploring in my direction, and it's not that I have to explore actively. So it's a very hard question in general for newer nodes, especially. It's just crazy. It's one of the biggest unknowns that I think it should be automated away in some way or another at some point. But at the moment, there is only trial and error. You try, you see, you explore absolutely different scenarios. Like you open to some of the random nodes where you can find some social connection, for example, and you also open bigger ones, and you see where the traffic goes.
It's also part of the romance, right? Of a new network, being in the dark, just moving your way through the labyrinth.
Yeah. Experimenting.
Exactly. Mm-hmm. Yeah, the most interesting part is that. So my advice, if I would recommend some nodes, for example, that are routing the most for me, they will not work for every node in the network. Because I've tried that already. Actually, I have some friends whom I recommended some of my top routing nodes, and they see no traffic there. So it actually depends a lot on your position in the node, and every node is a little bit unique here. So it's really not that transferable. It's not that I'm hiding a secret or something. It's it really is like that.
Yeah, and what a part of that subject? What other advice can you give people who just want to experiment with running a new routing Lightning node? Or have you experienced something that you, with the experience now, would do differently, maybe?
Oh, I probably made like all sorts of mistakes. Too many small channels, too few big channels. I've been in all sorts of extremes over the years. Zero fees everywhere, highest fees everywhere. Look at what the community is doing. I think it's evolving quite rapidly. So a lot of advice that nowadays would not work in half a year when the fee environment is different, for example. So I think Lightning Network is actually, by a large part, is a social phenomenon. So being in some community helps a lot. In general, two advices I usually give is start ballpark, middle ballpark, where with 10, 20 channels, see where it goes from there, try different strategies, and be patient, because usually, especially accumulating a little bit of a reputation in the network takes time. But once you start putting some work in and people start noticing you, you will get also some inbound liquidity, for example, from random nodes and stuff like this. So it comes.
Patience is everything.
Yeah. And what tools do you use for your own channel management, and how much time does it cost you in the week?
Python. I use Python. Yeah. So essentially, when I started, there was no tools at all available. Actually, I think even Boss was not there when I started. And some modern tools like LNDG or something, they're way too advanced too new for me. So I actually implemented a lot of stuff for channel management back in the days, and I just hacked a little bit here and there, and I have some scripts running on Chrome, and for the moment, I think it's more or less enough.
Now also for rebalancing, like the script that Carsten Otto built.
No, I'm using my own as well.
Your own,
Again, because I started hacking. I actually did it worse and later, but I had some, because my node is too huge. For me, the pathfinding would take forever. So I implemented some hacks to limit for example, the path lengths that I look for rebalancing.
Yeah,
so
smart.
I had to do something to just make it work. Otherwise, it was just stuck looking for paths all the time. Yeah, and how much time does it take? That's a good question. Nowadays, it's 15 minutes per week. But I have to admit, my node is not well maintained. It could do some. It could have some polishing. So previously, it would be easy for me to spend like an hour a day just playing with it, tinkering a little bit, changing something. So I think a lot of people go through that stage in their journey. Yeah.
And do you think that in the end, Lightning distributions like LND, Core Lightning, you talked about it, Liquid and Eclair from Async will be all interoperable in some way?
Yes. I think the basic functionality will be interoperable. I mean, it already is getting better. So I don't know, 3 versions. So I'm on LND myself, but I try to keep a close eye on Core Lightning, and I don't have a lot of time to follow Eclair, but I think it's one of the best implementations. Actually, it's really great for its use case. I think interoperability on the base layer, base functionality layer of Lightning will get there. But that doesn't mean that the implementations will be the same, because, for example, some of their extra features, like, I don't know, Taro or whatever it is, they will diverge probably with time a little bit here and there. But I think it's a must to have interoperability. I think it's something that's been put aside for quite a while, but since maybe a year, they're actually pushing it quite actively. So I hope it will be no problems in the future.
Yeah, it's a good thing. in episode 21, we had Karsten Otto in the show and asked him about Picard payments. This was about the facts that René Picard talked about, that larger channels will be preferable in pathfinding for payments and thus getting node operators more routing. Is this true in your opinion?
Yes. I mean, theoretically, yes. Already now, the pathfinding would prefer larger channels. I mean, it's just natural. Of course, you can push more through the same channel. So if you already push something, you will know that the next payment will likely go through. So this is not really rocket science. That's how it's designed to work. But should it work like that? This one, I'm not sure. I think with some multipath payments, they were a little bit of I think maybe not underused technology, but they could have more work put into them to make this problem a little bit better. Yeah, but in practice, actually, a lot of my routing goes through the channels with smaller capacity than with larger capacity. Okay. Also because they are usually more like exploratory channels that have covering the part of the network that is not covered by big channels yet. And that's where the demand is. So there is a bit of a trade-off here.
Yeah, there's more traffic. And we were talking a little bit about Eclair just now. And in episode 39, we had with us Sebastian Tenturier from Async. And he had an interesting question about, do you think Lightning Network works if on-chain fees are consistently high? And we're just curious about your point of view.
Yeah. Yes, it does. But it's painful. Yeah, we actually, I mean, I'm just saying a little bit from the previous experience. I think it was before the new, I call them new generation of node operators. So essentially the PlubNet era.
Yeah, entering in 2021.
Exactly. the whole timeline divided to before and after. So essentially we had a period of sustained high fees on chain. And managing the node back then was quite painful. So the forced closures could literally wipe out like tens of thousands of sats and by tens, I mean not just 10 or 20, but I saw some forced closures eating up to 80,000 sats.
It's crazy.
So essentially for a routing node operator, you just had no chance of making money. But I also saw some positive dynamics there. So people were much more careful about where they open channels to. They were not trying to do a lot of crazy things, like, I don't know, trying to run 5 rebalance scripts on a Raspberry Pi in parallel, because that kind of was risking some stuck HTLCs. So I think some of the dynamic there was positive. So maybe at some point we will converge to a reasonable solution there. Yeah.
Let's hope.
Yeah, let's hope.
And what security concerns of the Lightning Network do you think are undervalued nowadays?
Yeah, I think we've been you've been probably also chatting about this with many of the guests. The Griffin attack.
The Griffin attack, yeah.
It is really annoying. That's some of the things that should be fixed somehow, because it's so easy to exploit, and it's actually quite a miracle that we haven't seen it in the wild at that scale yet.
And if you look back on last year, what is the most stunning thing you can figure out, or something that you've seen, application or movement on the Lightning Network?
Yeah. The timer is accelerating.
Yeah, that's why I just thought, ask another question.
Yeah, Taro.
Taro, okay.
Not in itself, actually, but Yeah, I just like it as one of the breakthroughs, kind of bringing Lightning to the next level, showing the ability of what could be done, except of the usual value transfer transactions. So I don't think it's actually super exciting in itself, but just showing that it could be done and that more and more applications are to be followed. That's very exciting to me.
Could lead to more adoption then, and in that same sentence, also RGB, because
RGB is also quite great. Actually, I think they are taking a very different approach. So some of the functionality is overlapping. And I'm not sure how they manage to actually figure it out. I think that's been a topic of heated debates. But I mean, in this world, it's the more competition, the better.
That's right.
Sometimes the competition is unfair, but I believe that it's ultimately better for the community to have multiple ways to do things.
It's the best for the future of Lightning, I think. Yeah, indeed. Well, we had a lot of more questions about Lightning and some other questions, but we would like to invite you another time, another day on our show. That would be amazing. So, if you're up to it.
Thanks so much for having me here. Yes, I enjoyed the chat. Yeah, thanks for preparing the questions.
You're welcome.
Conecta el mundo.
We have still one question left for you. Last week it was no one other than Ben Ark, who we had on the show, and he's an advocate and educator and builder of Bitcoin hardware and software from 2014. And obviously he's one of the creators of LMBit. So we asked him to come up with a question for you. Edward will play the audio file, and then you may answer it.
It's a simple question, but well.
With Lightning nodes being hard to set up, manage, fund, expensive as well, is Lightning elitist?
Yes. Well, let me answer it in a little bit more elaborate way. No, Lightning Network as a whole is not elitist, but running a routing node is kind of elitist at the moment. It's the hard truths of the things. But I also think of it as it's elitist in the same sense as science used to be elitist quite a while ago. So it's something that you need to be passionate about and waste your time, energy, money, really invest into that to actually pay off, even if you think it's not really going to pay off that much.
I think so, break even is even everyone will sign for, right? I mean,
yeah, I mean it's possible to make money routing, but at the moment it's just much easier to find a software engineering job if you're into that and writing rebalancing scripts. So you're doing that for fun, not because it can make you money.
Yeah.
I hope it's it will. I'm not sure that running a routing node will stop being elitist. I think it's maybe even going to be more commercialized, but I hope it's not going to affect the actual usage of Lightning for actual users, because that's where I care the most about the impact of it.
Of course.
Nice.
And next time, Dmitry, we have Roy Scheinfeld on the show. He's the founder of Breeze, and you prepared a question for him. Let's hear it.
Yes. So, if you had an ability to come up with a rule that all Lightning nodes would have to abide by, no matter how technically feasible or controversial that rule is, what would that rule be?
Nice. It would be interesting to ask it to you also, but maybe we should do that afterwards, because he's going to listen. And then he thinks, well, that's Dmitry easy. Has a point there.
Copy paste your answer,
yeah.
Nice. We will ask him next week. Thank you.
We will hear it then. All right.
Yeah, I'm looking forward to his reply.
Connect the word.
So, we have a prize to give away, Edward and Dmitry.
Yeah, I just seen it and it's just amazing.
I put my glasses on because I couldn't believe my eyes, man. I think this is one of the best prizes we ever had to give away. Because,
shall I put in a drum roll?
Yeah, yeah, do it. It's So
what is it?
Yeah, we may give away 10 of Lightning channels with an inbound balance of 5 million Satoshi. So that is crazy.
10
from Dmitry, one of the best nodes out there. And I think, guys, especially the ones from within our Rings of Fire community, if you are looking for a good pair with 5 million Satoshis inbound liquidity, that's it. I think you couldn't find any better ones.
Look it up, LN to me. But of course, Dmitry says that all those scoring is not important, but you can see the node on Amboss, and there you can see a lot of more information. You can decide for yourself, but I think it's a no-brainer.
No, it's crazy, man.
What is the expiration that you're giving with those channels, Dmitry? Or because it isn't in my script, but of course, they can't live forever, I think.
Yeah, so that's, I don't think I will implement any special policy for them. So usually I keep the channels for as long as they're used. If the channel is not used for more than 30 days, I close it automatically.
Okay.
If I need liquidity.
Of course.
Because sometimes I don't close channels after 30 days. It doesn't mean that my script is broken. Yeah. Probably I just don't need liquidity.
And do you stay in touch with the node owners or the winners? Or
I'm happy to do that, but usually with 500 channels, you don't have a lot of hands down approach.
I'm going to close your channel now. Sorry. No.
Yeah.
Well, but it's crazy, man. I mean, it's half a Bitcoin in total, 50 million sets in total. So. Thanks. I mean, it's not that you're giving away 50 million sets, but I think liquidity-wise, I think for the people from within our community, it's one of the best prizes we could give away. So, especially for the guys and girls who are just starting to build their nodes, as small as they are, but maybe the more experienced also can be very interesting to have a channel with you. So thanks for that. And Edward, what do our listeners and viewers have to do to win this prize?
Well, you need to like and retweet the announcement that we're going to make after the show about our meetup by the CTW underscore podcast. No, it's CTW podcast. Sorry. So check the Twitter account of our podcast. And if you see there the announcement of the meetup, then it's pinned also on our Twitter account. So that's no problem. Subscribe to our channel and check the show notes for it. And I see here, we'll put it in show notes. That's what I said.
Just like a retweet. It's very easy, man. I mean, come on.
It's so simple.
So simple. And then and we can give away 10 channels. I mean, wow.
Yeah, so I think like and retweet, it's gonna go crazy. And we bring you, of course, in contact with Dmitry to open up the channel.
Yes.
So great. Thanks again, Dmitry.
Thanks, mate.
It's amazing.
Yeah. Looking forward.
Connect the world.
So thanks again, Dmitry, for being on our show. It was a very interesting talk. Where can people follow you? Do you maybe have a Twitter account or a website or something you want to share?
Yeah, I mean, ln2me.com is a website. It has my Twitter profile as well. It's lightning2_me. Mm-hmm. Because that's the original domain name that I had. It was lightning2.me. That's why. Yeah, and you can look me up on Telegram as well. It's X0100 or Augustus Baggins, or in almost any of the group. Just ask people.
I prefer Augustus Baggins.
Thanks again, Dmitry.
Thanks, mate.
Thanks. And thanks for listening, and thanks to all members participating in the Satoshi Radio Rings of Fire. And of course, thanks to everyone helping to connect the world with us. If you like our content, then please share, support our mission, and visit our website, connecttheworld.live, where you can also donate and subscribe, like, and share our content on your favorite platform. We need you to complete our mission, connect the world. So keep those nodes running. Sets flowing and rings burning, and see you all next week with Roy Scheinfeld on the same Lightning channel.
Tot ziens.
Adios, Dmitry.
До свидания.